Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a state of the market video. Today is October 9th, 2021. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security, and I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, starting with the S&P. So we have this head and shoulders top that's still, we'll call it in the potential stage because it tried to confirm here, but never really pushed down. So what I see in this particular scenario here, and again, this is S&P, is just in like this case right here, where we had a push up and then a push down right into the moving averages, and then we got a nice little push down. I see this as a similar situation, push up into the moving averages. And I think that there's a good chance that we get that next push down. I could be wrong, obviously. We're still below most of the short to medium term moving averages. The shortest are obviously turning up a little bit, but those medium term ones are, we're still below some of the key ones. We are price at 43.91, so just barely above the 65-day and the 50-day. Let's just change that to 50 just to see where the 50-day is. I know that one is widely watched, so let's take a look at that. So 50-day is at 44.03, so price is below the 50-day. So I think there's a good chance we get that push up and then push down. And then if you really look at it, then you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now, do we come all the way down here? That I don't know, obviously. Now, if you do the measured move here, and if this is a head and shoulders, it's 4%, and then look for another 4%, and it's roughly into that area. So that would make sense, right? That's the measured move. But again, this is on the indexes, and stocks obviously will react differently under the surface. But that's S&P. Let's go to the Qs. Oh, actually, no, let's go with RSP, equal weight S&P, because again, that's kind of what I drew out in the past, or something similar to this, and it's playing out okay right now. Again, still looks like a head and shoulder top potentially. Could this obviously move higher from here? It absolutely can. So don't think that just because it looks like a head and shoulder top, and we did get a decent pullback in here. This down day on Friday, again, was going into a long weekend, so it could be lower volume for that reason, but it was pretty low volume on the RSP. SPX was lower volume also. Again, you've been seeing trailing volume Thursday and Friday. It could be because we're going to a long weekend. Markets are closed on Monday. Looking at the Qs, again, kind of going back up into moving averages. Volume was actually a little bit higher, so that is considered distribution. And then rolling over, same type of situation, head and shoulders style-ish. Again, I think in the longer term, I think we're still an uptrend, but could we have one more leg down? I think it's possible, right? And what's interesting though is on equal weight is that it already completed on the equal weight, right? It already got here. So the cap weighted is no bueno, but the equal weight already kind of got to our target and kind of rebounded. Now, if you see the equal weight start to move higher with the cap weight to move lower, I mean, that's a lot of information, right? That means that the mega caps would be still declining, but under the surface, the smaller cap stocks, small, medium cap, of the Qs would be starting to set up again. And that is great information. So definitely one to watch is the equal weight Qs. If it continues higher, if it takes out this 84.50-ish level, gets above all these moving averages again, I think that then that's a lot of information, and this could have been potentially the bottom. We'll see what happens, but definitely QQQ equal weight, one to watch. IWM still just sideways chop. I mean, if you look at these moving averages, they're just literally on top of each other, like literally within what, a point of each other. Pretty amazing how tight it is in here. Eventually, again, it's going to have to make a decision which direction. If banks and oil and gas continue to lead, you would think that IWM should be doing pretty good. We'll see. But again, no clue. Year-long sideways move. That's all we got here, right? Would love to see, low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Maybe, break out above 234.50 and things get really bullish really fast, especially for the small caps. All right, let's keep going. Speaking of financials, closing right at all-time highs, pretty bullish, I think, in general. I think that's a good thing. Again, decreasing volume. I'm not so worried about that holiday weekend. Now, SMH kind of came back down, is retesting this area, pretty much held. I mean, right? Because this is just an area, dipped below it a little bit, and now is trying to stabilize. Still under all its moving averages, so it could still move lower. But as an indicator, hasn't broken down as bad as the Qs or SPX. So it's kind of holding up there. Okay, again, we'll see if it takes out these lows here or if it pops up above the moving averages, right? So again, I think just like the equal weight QQQ, seeing what this does will give us a ton of information, and combine those two together, I think then we're going to get a weight of the evidence. Next up, let's see lumber. Lumber is still holding the level, again, underneath the moving averages. So not out of the woods yet by any shape or form, right? But hasn't broken down. So that's a positive, right? That is a positive, and we'll see what happens with this. Lumber, so not much of a signal yet, but the likelihood of it breaking down, again, being under the moving averages is reasonable. So, looking at $83. Lumber below $83, and I think the market takes a much more bearish look to it. And again, sideways movement or breakout, and not as bad. Bond yields. Let's take a look at these bond yields. So if the market was going to fall apart, you would see bond yields probably spiking, and maybe they're going to, right? I mean, maybe they're going to, maybe they come back up to this 1.51, but in the end, it would just be sideways chop until it gets to 1.52. Above 1.52 in this green area, I think then that becomes a pretty serious bottom. As long as it's below that, I think that everything's fine. Again, does this, it doesn't look like this, so it doesn't tell me that there is some major issue in the market. Could it come up here? I think it definitely could. And if you look at the 10-year, which is in the bond idea, I think the 10-year is moving the markets right now. And does it get up to 1.75 again? Yeah, probably, right? It looks that way. The question is, how fast? And does it get to 2, right? And does it get to 3? Over 3 or 3.25, right? So that's what I'm watching. 1.75, I think people are expecting 1.75. I'm not sure if they're expecting higher than 1.75. And again, and how fast we get there. It's moving though, the bond yields, and I think it's driving the market. And I think that, if you look at XLE to SPX or even QQQ, probably more dramatic. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's technology and the Qs have really outperformed. And then starting November of last year, okay, energy is starting to shape up a little bit. Again, are we seeing this, this type of movement here? Not yet, we're not, but it's kind of an interesting dynamic that's we've seen the higher lows and some higher highs. We'll see if this ends up as a higher high, and we'll see what goes on with that. But right now, energy is really doing well. XLF compared to the Qs, Here's the financials against the Qs. This was the falling wedge I was looking at in this way back here, last year. And really, since this falling wedge, it's really been constructive on a relative basis against the Qs and really technology overall. So we'll see if this continues or not, right, on a relative basis. But let's move on to the VIX. All right, so on the VIX, the VIX is at 18. Nothing crazy, right? VIX is in a normal range. And the VIXIN, again, nothing. We're not seeing these big spikes, right? It got a little volatile in there, but nothing too bad yet. Put call ratio, no signal at all, right in the middle. Tells me people have 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door. Yeah, again, just every time it, maybe it's making higher lows and higher highs, but as of this point, I would say no signal on the put call ratio as far as capitulation goes, or exuberance for that matter. I don't think people know what to do in this market. And I think that shows in this ratio, in this study. Value line geometric index, study of breadth, sideways movement, right? So it stopped going down, stopped going up. Breadth is just kind of chilling. And looking at MMFI, another study of breadth, still in this kind of, again, consolidation. Yes, we made a low in July, and we keep making higher lows, right, and lower highs since February. And so I think breadth is going to have to break one way or the other in this. And I think that's going to be, the next big move. So I'm watching MMFI to see which way breadth moves. Okay. Still below 50% of stocks are above the 50-day moving average. So we got that, right? Looking at gold, doom and gloomers. Again, no idea if this is going to be some kind of big consolidation bottoming pattern. Hasn't disproved it, nor has it proved it. And so we have a big question mark, and we will wait and see. But we're not seeing this panic buying into gold, even with interest rates rising, which is kind of interesting. Looking at the Bitcoin, Bitcoin, maybe people are, instead of gold, they're just piling the Bitcoin for a perceived safety play. But this week, again, it's a weekly chart on Bitcoin, pretty bullish looking, right? I mean, up 13% on the week. Bitcoin looks like it wants to break out. If Bitcoin's breaking out, again, it could be a digital gold, or it could be that people are risk on. It's tough to tell. Again, this Bitcoin study is kind of new to see how it correlates with the market. So it's kind of interesting to see what's happening. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin at almost 55,000 again, pretty close to those all-time highs. And we'll see, does this end up being a double top, or is it going to be just a consolidation, like a bull flag or something like that, and then it move higher again? We won't know till after the fact. But Bitcoin looking good, so it's tough to see how that correlates. But I think we need to watch it, and because I think it may be the new gold, and I think gold may be, it's got tons of history, and there's still a ton of gold bugs out there. It may not be the one to watch for a indicator. We'll find out. Anyway, when everything's said and done, I think that there's a lot of questions in the market still. Good chance that the market still needs to may have one more leg down, and I think the equal weight Qs are going to be the tell. I think also SMH is going to be the tell. What does it do here? Does it break back down, or does it make a higher low and move higher? So that's where my focus is coming into this week. You could also say potentially lumber. What does it do here? Does it shuffle around sideways, or does it break down? Those are the ones that are probably the most actionable to maybe give us a clue on which direction the market is going. And one more would be obviously breadth with the percent of stocks above the 50-day. If this breaks down or breaks out of this kind of pennant type thing, then that would obviously give me some more conviction on which way it's going. So still yellow light, caution on this market, right? There are some stocks holding up nicely. There are some stocks building, nice bases. I'll throw one out there right now. Unity. Again, looking pretty good, right? So there's some stocks that are not breaking down. This is one of them. Again, tomorrow I'm going to do my stocks to watch video where I'll highlight all these types of stocks and give you some ideas of what I'm looking at going into this week. Not only growth names, but I'll also look at some oil and gas names and financials too, to give a pretty well-rounded look on the best of the best. So again, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Find me on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. Find me on YouTube, where you're probably finding this video. Again, like and subscribe does help me out. And thank you all very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.